Have you ever felt like you're just a tiny boat tossed around on a vast, stormy sea? That's how Leo felt. He lived in a small, quiet town, working a job that paid the bills but didn't light a fire in his soul. Every morning he'd look in the mirror and see a stranger, someone whose dreams had faded like old photographs left in the sun. He felt stuck, anchored to a life he didn't choose, watching other ships sail off to exciting horizons while he was just there. Leo's dream was to be a painter. As a kid, his world was a kaleidoscope of colors. He'd spend hours with his cheap watercolor set, painting sunsets that bled orange and purple, and forests so green you could almost smell the moss. His parents, practical people, always said, "Painting is a nice hobby, Leo, but it won't put food on the table." So he packed his dreams away in a dusty box in the attic, along with his brushes and dried-up paint tubes. He went to college, got a sensible degree, and landed a sensible job. He did everything he was supposed to do, but happiness, that seemed to be for other people. One rainy Tuesday, something shifted. Leo was scrolling mindlessly on his phone during his lunch break. Another gray day in a sea of gray days. He stumbled upon a video of an old man, his face a roadmap of wrinkles, painting on a huge canvas by the sea. The man's hands were stained with a rainbow of colors, but his eyes sparkled with a joy so pure it felt like a jolt of electricity. The man said, "I didn't pick up a brush until I was 70. I thought it was too late. But then I realized the only too late is not starting at all. Every sunrise is a new canvas." Those words hit Leo like a wave. Every sunrise is a new canvas. He couldn't shake them. That evening, for the first time in over a decade, he climbed into the attic. The air was thick with the smell of old wood and forgotten memories. He found the box. His heart pounded as he lifted the lid. There they were, his old brushes, their bristles stiff and sad. He ran his fingers over them, and a spark, tiny but warm, ignited within him. He didn't have any paints, so he drove to the only art supply store in the next town over. Just before it closed, he bought a small set of acrylics and a single canvas. It felt foreign, almost reckless. Back home, he set up the canvas in his small living room. For a long time he just stared at the blank white surface. It was intimidating, the fear of failure, the voice of his parents. The years of self-doubt all screamed at him. "You're not good enough. You've forgotten how. You're wasting your time." He almost gave up. He almost put everything back in the box and returned to his gray, sensible life. But then he remembered the old man's sparkling eyes. He took a deep breath, squeezed a dollop of bright blue paint onto his palette, and made a single, trembling stroke across the canvas. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't a masterpiece, but it was his, and that one moment, a dam inside him broke. He painted 4 hours, losing all track of time. He didn't paint anything specific, just colors. Angry reds, hopeful yellows, calm blues, deep purples. He poured all his frustration, his regret, and that tiny, flickering spark of hope onto the canvas. When he finally stepped back, exhausted but exhilarated, the sun was beginning to rise. And for the first time in years, Leo truly saw it. That first painting wasn't for anyone else. It was for him. It was a declaration, a promise. He started painting every day, before work, after work, on weekends. His small apartment turned into a chaotic, colorful studio. He painted the things he saw, the things he felt, the dreams he was slowly unpacking from that dusty box. His first few paintings were clumsy, but he didn't care. He was learning again, playing again. He was feeling alive. He started a small social media account, just to share his work. He didn't expect anything, he just wanted to put his art out into the world. At first it was just a few friends and family who followed him. But then, a stranger commented on one of his paintings of a stormy sea. "This is exactly how I feel." The comment read, "Thank you for painting it." More comments like that started to trickle in. People connected with the emotion in his work, the struggle, the hope, the raw honesty. Leo realized his art wasn't just for him anymore, it was a bridge, connecting his heart to others. Of course, it wasn't easy. There were days filled with doubt. Days when he'd stare at a blank canvas for hours, feeling like a fraud. Some people in his life didn't understand. "When are you going to give up this silly hobby?" they'd ask. But now, the voices of his online community were louder. The joy he felt when he painted was louder. He kept going. He saved up money and took a weekend workshop with a professional artist. He read every art book he could find at the library. He was a student of life again, and his curiosity was insatiable. One day a local coffee shop owner saw his work online and asked if he'd like to display a few paintings. Leo was terrified, putting his art on a real wall for strangers to judge. It felt like standing naked in the middle of a crowd. But he said yes. He remembered that first fearful brushstroke and how it had changed everything. Fear was just a sign that he was moving in the right direction. The night of the small opening, his hands were clammy. He watched from a corner as people looked at his paintings. They'd lean in, step back, and talk amongst themselves. Then, a woman approached him. She was the one who had bought his first painting, The Stormy Sea. She had tears in her eyes. "Your painting has been hanging in my living room," she said. "It got me through a really tough time." It reminded me that even in the biggest storms there's still beauty, and the storm will eventually pass. In that moment, everything clicked for Leo. He wasn't just a guy with a hobby. He was an artist. His purpose wasn't just to put food on the table. It was to put hope on a canvas, to show people they weren't alone in their feelings, whether it was joy, sorrow, or that feeling of being a small boat on a vast sea. Leo's story doesn't end with him becoming a world-famous artist overnight. That's not the point. The point is, he redesigned his life. He didn't quit his job right away, but he found a way to weave his passion into his reality. His life was no longer gray. It was a vibrant, messy, beautiful masterpiece in progress. He was no longer a stranger in the mirror. He was Leo, the painter. He was the captain of his own ship, navigating the waves, sometimes stormy, sometimes calm, with a paintbrush in his hand and a heart full of color. So, what's in your attic? What dream have you packed away because someone told you it was impractical or silly? Maybe it's not painting. Maybe it's writing, singing, starting a business, learning a language, or traveling. Whatever it is, I want you to hear this. It's not too late. The only too late is not starting at all. Your life is your canvas. Don't be afraid to make that first, trembling stroke. It might not be perfect, but it will be yours. And it might just be the beginning of your own beautiful masterpiece. Go find your brushes. The sun is rising. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content to help you paint your own vibrant life. See you next time.